Welcome to the Real Estate Equation. I'm Ian Mayer with I'm Home Inspections. I'm here with
Liz Bushman at Guild Mortgage in Burbank. And we're on location today. What do you think?
Yeah.
Pretty fun.
What do you think of this? Different backdrop.
Different background, different place. So shout out to the Muse Rooms on Barham Boulevard in Los Angeles for allowing us to borrow the boardroom for the day. That's
all
cool.
Right. Let us know what you think. Or do you like this background? Or do you like your other background? Anyway, today, Liz, I hear you have a juicy topic for us.
Ooh, it is good. It is very, very good.
We'll dive right in.
All right. So today's topic is about credit triggers and the telemarketing unsolicited offers that goes with it. So some of you may already know about this, but but do not fast forward. Please watch this entire bit because it is so important that you know exactly what's going on right now. So here is what's happening. Did you know that when you apply for credit, a lender or finance company is going to pull a hard credit check? Well, most people already know that, so that's pretty sensible. But did you also know that there are lending companies that buy your client's personal information as leads from the credit agencies, which they are getting their name, their cell phone, and their email address? So they're getting all this private information and then turning it around and then soliciting your clients. It is absolutely true. And because these are purchase leads from these types of lenders and finance companies, the credit bureaus are actually profiting off of it as well. So, and it's legal, folks. This is all legal because it's quote unquote part of the shopping around version of what we want our buyers to do, right? So we want our buyers to seek out a few different lenders, make sure that they're making the right choice of who they want to work with on loan programs. But I'll tell you, this is not the good part of shopping around, because how would you like to be harassed and receiving unsolicited texts and phone calls and cell phone emails, unsolicited texts and phone calls from people that don't know you, but they're pretending to know you. So it's a pretty bad thing. So let me break it down. When a mortgage lender orders a credit report on a consumer, the credit bureau providing the report may then alert various other mortgage lenders who have subscribed to a service of that fact, which is a good indication that the consumer is now seeking a mortgage loan. Then what happens is that when they go to every sneaky length to get you on the phone or text back or try to engage and agree to have your client apply with them. This, however, is determined and called an unsolicited offer. Some even impersonate the current mortgage company representative. This has happened to my clients where they try to impersonate Liz Bushman at Guild Mortgage or at my previous company, Academy Mortgage. And they actually came back to me and they said, "Is this you?" And showed me a screenshot of what this company, I'm not going to name names, had actually tried to say that they were part of my operations team. So that was absolutely untrue. And so those unsolicited offers are impersonating the lender that your client is actually working with. And some will go to the lengths of harassing them, calling them multiple times a day until they answer the phone. It really is a problem. Then there are other lenders that will try to do a bait and switch interest rate thing. Like try to get you a lower rate. What's the problem with that? Well, a lot of the times is that lower rate doesn't exist. So if they did try to choose that other lender, and some have, and then come back to me and say, well, it wasn't exactly what they quoted, but we were already, too deep into it to switch back. So when they steal the client from you altogether, it's really heartbreaking. So it is a big problem, Ian. It's a really big problem.
Well, this sounds like a big problem. So what do we do to stop this, Liz?
Well, it comes to the federal government level. So the problem lies is that it is wrapped into the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So let me explain. There are some advocacy groups such as MBA, which is the Mortgage Bankers Association. It's their main trade and advocacy groups for lenders. Their main goal right now is to stop this. I personally have signed numerous petitions for years, and this has been going on for at least 10 years to my knowledge. And it's now at the congressional level to decide. So it's up to our elected officials to decide to vote for new legislation. So as of today, April 23rd, 2025 is when we're shooting this, the House and Senate legislation would need to amend that Fair Credit Reporting Act to prohibit consumer reporting agencies from furnishing a trigger lead, except in limited circumstances. So there would be like a circumstance of which I guess they could say that they are shopping and they would want people to call them. But I'll let you know, it passed the Senate in December under last administration, but it did not pass the House. So it's got to pass both the Senate and the House. So the legislation is kind of stuck right now in limbo. And keep in mind, this legislation would protect potential home buyers from any unsolicited, predatory sales tactics while preserving fair competition. That's what they're trying to pass at the Congress level.
Okay, so Liz, so how do they get my information?
A couple different ways. You online bank. I do. Don't they ask you for your name and your cell phone and your email to set up your banking account?
Correct.
Okay. What about your credit cards or car leases, auto loans, student loans? All that information is held like in a file cabinet with your company, the creditor, right? That's providing a service to you. So when a lender pulls a credit report from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and those companies all report up information about you to them, they have your data. It's called source of information on a credit report. They know where you live. They know who you work for, and they probably know your annual income. So when these leads are purchased from the credit bureaus, they're providing those telemarketing companies, I want to call them, they're providing them that information.
Oh, so what can a buyer do to protect themselves?
Well, a couple different things. So we're all aware of the do not call list, right?
Yes.
Are you on it?
In theory.
Oh no, you got to check. You got to always keep your do not call list up to date. So the do not call lists help, but just like we don't, it may have expired. So they're not really effective anymore. There are some websites out there that you can send your buyers to before they start shopping. One of them is called optoutprescreen.com. But if they have that I need it now kind of mentality, that's going to take 4 to 6 weeks for it to go into effect. And most people don't want to wait for that while getting pre-approved. They usually expect a pre-approval within, 24 to 48 hours. A typical buyer does. So a lender can choose to do one thing. They can choose not to do a hard pull, or they can wait on pulling your credit report altogether. Most lenders these days do offer soft credit checks or soft pulls. So doing a soft pull, it doesn't trigger the information to the credit bureaus. It does keep it hidden. So that's a way to get through the stages of pre-approving a buyer, as well as protecting their information. So if a lender can choose to do a soft pull, then that'll protect it up to a certain point. But eventually, through escrow, once you're in escrow, you do have to pull a hard pull in order to meet regulation. So Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac do require a hard pull to close. Now, there's some programs, though, that do not allow a soft credit pull at pre-approval, and that would be FHA and VA and even USDA. They need a hard credit check in order to get a pre-approval, an underwritten loan pre-approval. So because they don't, that automatically is going to trigger credit triggers on those products.
So let me ask you this, Liz. Do you have any tips or tricks to help with this?
I do. I'll share those with you. Here are my tricks. Some tricks are to remove the email and the cell phone number of your client altogether. Even though it's not the lender that's providing the information at the credit pull request, there's a thing out there that if you remove it, that will help the time of credit check. But again, 3 items are needed to pull a credit report. Do you know what 3 items those are?
It will be your name and social security number. I'm assuming your address.
And your address. That is correct. So your name, your social, and your address. Some need date of birth. But regardless, that's a whole lender-to-lender thing. So if you only need those 3 things, why bother by putting in an email and a cell phone number in? So that can kind of protect your client from the beginning. Now, If it is the lender that is providing information, this still has been proven wrong that it's not the lender providing the information to the credit bureau. But if they do capture it, there has been instances where I've actually swapped out their phone numbers with a different phone number, just to kind of mess it up a little bit. So they're calling the wrong phone number, at least if that's the number that they're gathering. So we do that. It causes, no harm to our clients because we immediately, put the right information back to continue processing.
All right, Liz, what if I want them to call me?
Oh, no, you didn't ask me this. Ian, I love you. You're one of my really good friends. But that wouldn't be a smart move. Do your own shopping. So what I would say if they weren't one of my bestest friends in the business, do your own shopping. Don't be lazy. Ask for 3 reputable lenders that are going to be honest and communicative and give you the right information. Don't let a telemarketer provide you information because that's really what these companies are. They're really telemarketers trying to get your business, your client as well. So not a smart move. And in the business, we go, ew, gross. You don't want to get your mortgage from a telemarketer. Cause why would you? We all hate those junk text mails, especially during, the election that we just were bombarded with. At least I know I was. So there's also just that lack of loyalty, going on that if obviously they do to a telemarketer to get their mortgage, which is like the biggest financial decision of their life. It tells me a little bit about their character.
So when you're getting your mortgage, make sure you get the real Liz and not the fake Liz.
Yeah, ooh, fake Liz.
This is a problem. When we had our fires in January, I had to get a little line of business credit. And wow, ever since then, my emails and phone are blowing up with lenders trying to offer me more credit, personal lines of credit, business credit. It's really crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't stay to just residential mortgage lenders. I mean, any type of credit. You're not protected.
But, what's really crazy is home inspectors are under immense pressure to sell their data, their clients' data.
Wow.
Because now once your home is closed, that becomes public record.
Sure does.
And every company out there that has anything to do with homes finds those public records and starts inundating you with ads for, insurance, television, internet, moving, whatever. But, these companies are starting to realize, well, by the time it closes, you've probably already it's too late. You've already picked your insurance. You've probably already picked your television provider. You've probably already picked your mover. You've probably already picked your alarm system. Yeah. So now they've decided, well, the home inspector knows who's going to close before anybody else. So there's immense pressure on home inspectors to sell their clients' data. If a home inspector is offering any sort of home warranty, home guarantee, something safe product, all those products that sound really nice are really just an excuse for them to sell your data. So one thing we're really big on in our company is not selling client data. I've never sold client data. I never will.
Yay!
We just did a big pre-listing inspection on a very well-known celebrity's home.
Ooh, that sounds juicy.
And, we're not talking about it.
Okay.
We have an NDA. We just give a blanket NDA to everybody.
That's
and
cool.
We don't sell client data because I don't think celebrities would appreciate that. And I don't think the average person would appreciate that.
No.
But it is really incredible how many people out there want the home inspection report, want that data, not just because they know they're about to move, but also they know they're about to probably fix up the house. And, if we say the roof needs to be replaced, these companies want to get that information and then they can turn around and resell it to roofers as a lead. So be careful who you choose to do your home inspection. And if they're not selling your data out there. But even if we don't, once it closes, then it's public record. Yeah. So just be aware of that. Any final thoughts, Liz, before we wrap this episode up?
Final thoughts are just work with people that you trust, right? So relationships are very important in this business, and trusting your lender, trusting your home inspector, and trusting your realtor that they're going to do not only just a good job for you, but they're going to protect you throughout the process as well. I think that's really important. So everybody has a choice of lenders. I don't want to sound like, an airline company, but everyone has a choice of lenders, home inspectors, and real estate agents and realtors. So make sure you're choosing the right one for yourself. And for realtors, if you want to have any comments or share your personal stories, I'd love to hear them. You can message us or put them in the comments. We'd appreciate it.
All right. So this has been the Real Estate Equation Podcast. I'm Ian Mayer with I Am Home Inspections, doing inspections that matter for people who care. 818-298-3405.
And I'm Liz Bushman with Guild Mortgage of the Buchman team. You can reach me at 818-405-0809. We are your lender for life.
All right. Like and subscribe.